And now for a review of Candyman 2, Farewell to the Flesh. You know, in some ways, I think this is about equal to the original, even though it retcons a lot of the mythos. No longer is Robotai, aka Candyman, a northerner gentleman. He's a slave. They try to give some kind of reason for him to be related to the mirror, because remember he had to look in the mirror, say his name 5 times. Well, what did any of his torture have to do with a mirror? Now they're saying the girl he was in love with held a mirror, and she could see him in the mirror afterwards. And I'm like, weird, but, you know, effort. Well, now you got this gal, Annie. Oh, okay, man, there's just kids everywhere, Jesus. You got this gal, Annie, who lives in New Orleans, yeah, far away from Chicago, where he was supposedly buried. You know, had his ashes scattered. And her family, the audience find this out, or at least gets privy to this knowledge way earlier than she figures it out. Her family owned the slave quarters. You know, he was her slave. In some way, she's a descendant of him. He seems to want to seduce her to have his child, something of that nature. And she ends up going to the slave quarters, gets the mirror, breaks it, and that kills Candyman. And then there's some bad CGI, even by 95 standards, of him like getting sliced apart and shattered. You know, I guess I forgot to mention this on the previous review, but I like the Philip Glass score of the original film, and what they did with it here kind of bastardizes it. Puts a chorus in with a lot of it, and it makes it very straight-to-video sounding. Sounds very cheap. It kind of sounds as cheap as the Hellraiser score. Yeah, oh no, you said something about a Hellraiser. Screw you, Vaughn. Right. But I like... Oh shit, that's a snake. Jesus Christ. So I like that they tried to make more sense out of the story with this one. Though it's, you know, poor filmmaking in the legacy of the franchise to disregard or pick and choose elements from the original. You only have one guy returning besides Candyman. That's this professor who dropped the bombshell that Helen should have researched and figured out on her own, instead of some guy telling it to her about how Candyman died. That would have been a better way to do the original movie. And I give Candyman Farewell to the Flesh 2.